All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the con artist strikes again, goes for Mike Williams with a fifth rounder with the New York Jets, goes with my Green Bay Packers, Preston Smith, 32 years old, folks. Don't let those stats fool you, man. This dude is still legit. Folks, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 6-2. All right, they're alone atop the AFC North. They're alone at the top of the AFC North. When we said this in the summer, we got ridiculed, and I'm talking to all the Steelers fans out there right now. If you believe the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be 6-2 or anything around that, you were viewed as crazy. You were viewed as literally crazy. Folks, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is currently top 8 against both the pass and the run. Russell Wilson, Najee Harris, George Pickens, Zach Frazier's coming back, you name it. This team gets healthier and healthier as the weeks progress, which was a huge issue in the first couple of games. You're well coached. I like the coordinators. I like the talent, and I like Russell Wilson. And I don't think you should fade this Pittsburgh Steelers team. And we're going to talk about Mike Williams and Preston Smith specifically in today's video. But, folks, very few or very seldom do you have a trade in the NFL, the MLB, the NBA. Very rarely do you have a trade where it's like, a top 10 player, top 20 player, somebody who actually moves the needle. Because I get it. The main critique would be, all right, what does Mike Williams offer me? What does Preston Smith offer me? These guys were just traded. Another team didn't want them. What do they offer me? Football, in my opinion, it's a game of inches, and Mike Williams and Preston Smith, they're going to help you win football games, all right? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in tonight's video, but before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Steelers fans, love and appreciate you guys as always. You're 6-2, man. I'm just so happy. I'm so proud of this football team. It's such a great organization. If we could try, I'm done glazing. If we could try and get this video to 250 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. We'll actually started with Preston Smith. So great news. Nick Herbig apparently is going to be good to go this upcoming Sunday against the 7-2 Washington Commanders. But I'm a Packers fan. If you guys didn't know, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. And yesterday you guys acquired my main man, Preston Smith, for a 2025 7th round pick. Now, Preston's 6'5". He's 265 pounds. Now, he's 32 years old. But he really rounds out this room. Like, he really does. And when you have edge rushers, or I'll be honest with you, if you have any player on the defensive line or even at the linebacker position, it's 2024. What do people care about? People care about stats, folks. And when we're talking about defensive linemen, obviously, most people care about sack count. Preston Smith has just 2.5 sacks this year. He currently ranks 143rd in pressure rate amongst players with at least 100 pass rush snaps. He was going to be a cat candidate. He's going to be a cut candidate for my Green Bay Packers this upcoming season, this past summer. He is so good against the run. He really is. And even from 2021 to 2023, he averaged at least 40 pressures, he had at least 40 pressures in all 3 of those seasons. So you look at his stats, you're like, all right, he only has 2.5 sacks this year. His pressure rate at 143rd, it's not good, right? Not the case. Go watch the film. Take it from a Green Bay Packers fan. The Packers defense in general is having a really difficult time getting to the quarterback and taking him down in general. But when you watch the nitty-gritty, when you watch the meat and potatoes, you watch the game film of Preston Smith in these first 9 or so games for the Packers, he's still producing. And once again, when you look at these defensive linemen, so many people are just so caught up in the sack count. And Preston only has 2.5 sacks this year, but in the last 3 years, he has over 8 sacks, all right, including 28 total sacks since 2021, 158 total pressures, 58 run stops. And I get it. He's 32 years old, and he's more of a bench player. And honestly, in Green Bay this season, who's more of a bench player, we switched our defensive scheme completely, and we're just not having success getting to the quarterback, and they just switched their scheme. And Preston Smith just didn't really fit it, so he requested a trade, and the Packers traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like a move like this so much, folks. Preston, even if he's coming off the bench, right? This can be a guy when the Pittsburgh Steelers get to the playoffs, or you're playing the Baltimore Ravens, or you're playing a big-time football game against Cincy, you're playing a divisional opponent. Preston's one of those dudes who can pull out 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss out of thin air. He's still really freaking good. And then we move over to Mike Williams. And it's not DeAndre Hopkins. It's not Amari Cooper. I feel like I'm missing a big one. It's not Devontae Adams. I get it. It's not Brandon Ayuk. I get it. It's just Mike Williams. He ended his Jets tenure with 12 catches for 166 yards and no touchdowns. There is some info in that. I don't know if you guys remember, Aaron Rodgers called Mike Williams out for running the wrong route in a game against the Buffalo Bills. Since that game against Buffalo, where he literally got onto the post-game presser and was like, it was the wrong route. And you watch the film, you watch the game, and you're like, I don't know if that was the wrong route, was it? He's had 2 catches on 7 targets for only 21 yards since Aaron Rodgers called him out on national television. This is coming from Mike DeFabo. He writes on The Athletic for you guys. He's a phenomenal. He's one of my favorite writers just in general. He said this about Mike Williams, and it really brings it all together. He's a 6'4", 218-pound target who can stretch defenses vertically and make contested catches. Stylistically, Williams is the exact type of receiver who should be well positioned to catch plenty of moon balls from a quarterback who has made a career out of bombing it deep. So, folks, Mike Williams on contested targets since 2018. He's number 3 in the NFL in receiving grade. He's number 2 in receptions at 91. He's number 2 in receiving yards at just 5 yards under 1,500 yards. And he's caught 54.2% of contested targets throughout his NFL career. So I get it, man. It's not Devontae Adams. You're not getting a 1,200 receiving yard player. That's not what Pittsburgh needs. That's why George Pickens exists. And don't worry if you're Pat Freiermuth. Don't worry if you're Van Jefferson, if you're Calvin Austin III. This helps you. This is complimentary. Mike Williams, we said this in yesterday's video, huge 50-50 guy. We called him a 70-30 guy yesterday. He's more like 80-20. George Pickens in 50-50 balls is more like 90-10. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. This is exactly what Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers want on their offense. You're 6-2. You're leading the division. You got a hard second half of the schedule. And these 2 cats, you can dispute it all you want. They're going to play. And they're going to play good. And they're going to help you win football games. That's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But guys, give me a Steelers team grade rating from their trade deadline yesterday afternoon. Peace. I'm going to go A+, by the way. Screw it.